Good evening, everybody. Tonight is the meeting of the Finance Committee, and for the purposes of this meeting, a motion to take a roll call vote that for the purpose of this meeting would be applicable to all motions to remove an item from the table, place items on the table, package items, or suspend the rules unless there is an objection.
So moved.
No objections? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Okay.
Just so you know, we're supposed to take roll call votes because we have somebody
That's
on
on-
remote, just so you know.
That's on Zoom,
That's on Zoom.
which is Michael.
Michael.
So everything we have to take a vote.
From the rest of the meeting, we got to do a roll call, just
Okay.
so they've told us.
Okay.
So I'll make it, so
Well-
we made the motion, so you want to call the roll?
Okay, the roll will be Counselor Devine here, Counselor Jourdain,
I'm here.
Counselor Givner,
Here.
Counselor Sullivan,
Present.
and Counselor Ocasio.
Here.
Okay.
And then in favor of the motion, to adopt that motion.
And all those in favor to adopt that motion? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Jeffrey? Jeff?
Yes.
Oh, I'm assuming you contacted Maria from the library?
Yes, she told me today she would be attending in person.
Okay, and how about Aaron?
I know he's planning to attend, but I don't know if it's in person or on Zoom.
Okay, I would like to have a motion to take some of the things out of order that were in the Finance Committee that no longer apply. They were copies to the Finance Committee. So can I hear that motion?
Motion to suspend the rules to take up items 7 through 11?
11, right, okay,
Second.
Aye.
all right. 7. Okay.
There's Aaron.
Okay, hi, Aaron. Ordered, Counselor Jourdain, order the cooking company be invited to a future finance subcommittee meeting to review their recent health insurance analysis for the city. And what is your pleasure on that?
This one here, I think we should table, Madam Chair, until we had asked them to come back in February with the plan on self-insurance. It looks like it's been submitted for our meeting next week.
Okay.
And then we have to find out if that's going to end up in ordinance or finance. If they decide to go ordinance, then probably at our next finance meeting, we'd be able to let it go.
The next finance meeting is going to be the 24th, so I'd like to hear a motion to,
Table side, item 7.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, roll call. Mike Sullivan,
Yes.
Counselor Ocasio,
Yes.
Counselor Jourdain?
Yes.
Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now we have, Aaron, we'll be with you in 2 seconds, okay? Now we have an old order from Counselor Terry Murphy from December 15th, 2020. And this is order that the police and fire chiefs appear before the Finance Committee to document how much of police overtime total of $266,682 expended through the end of October was covered for vacation, sick time, and injured on duty status. The same information is requested for the fire department and the expenditure of $157,305 through October. In both cases, how many persons per shift being absent leads to the use of overtime. The goal of this order is to determine if we are most effective staffing levels without jeopardizing public safety. From what I understand, this was complied with because since that time, there's been many discussions on overtime. So I'd like to make a motion that this been complied with.
Mike,
Second.
okay, sorry. I was going to say, I was going to ask Mike, because I know his name was also on there. That sounds
This is
right?
just Terry Murphy?
I don't know, for the agenda, it says Murphy Sullivan. So
That's another one. I think that's another one.
Oh, no, we're on
No, it's item 8.
We're item 8. That's what we're debating right now.
Okay.
Okay, but sounds like Mike's all set with it.
You all
so-
set with that,
yep,
Mike?
So I,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, roll call. Ocasio,
Yeah.
Jourdain,
Yes.
Devine, yes. Givner?
Yes.
And Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that's done. All right, just one more, Aaron, and then I'll call you up. This is was introduced by Counselor David Bartley, James Leahy, Joel McGivern, Michael Sullivan, and Peter Tallman, that the Law Department provide City Council with an updated legal opinion regarding the city's Supervisor Association and include with it, at a minimum, the following: whether the association is a union, if it is a union, when this designation was approved by, and by what authority. This is so familiar. It's happened every year. Under what general law is affiliated, and please provide the specific department heads included within the associations. Please provide any past legal opinions and relevant exhibits. This was received and adopted and referred to the law department, a copy to finance. So my understanding is this was complied with, and an opinion was provided on October 5th, 2021 by the law department. So can I hear a motion that that's been complied with?
Motion's been complied with?
Okay,
Second.
all right. And another roll call. Ocasio, excuse me for using your last name, it's just easier. Ocasio,
Yes.
Jourdain.
Yes.
Devine, yes. Sullivan
Yes.
and Givner.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Aaron, come on in. What? That's the object. But I have some, let me just find yours. Okay. That is Maria's. Okay. And if you could come up here, I have something for you.
Uh-oh.
Marty Dunn. I found that today at home, so I figured I'd give you one. Okay, so this was introduced by Counselor McGivern, but I'm going to say Counselor Jourdain because this was prior to the new council. So this is from order that there be and hereby approximated by transfer in the fiscal year 2024, $9,768.13 as follows. From OPED-CONTRACT services, $9,768.13 to vacation buyback, $4,770.36, sick leave buyback, $4,997.77. Make a motion to take this off the table.
So
Yeah.
moved.
Aaron, can you,
Sure.
do you guys have this?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, counselors, and
evening.
congratulations. Good to see everybody. You will be getting a communication from my office, just welcoming everybody, and obviously our doors are always open. So before you tonight, needing to make this transfer due to a retirement. So a longtime employee is retiring, and unfortunately, the only sort of monies that I have is through my contracted services, so coming from the expense line to the personnel line category. Typically, I believe that this would be taken right out of that salary line, but then we would be unable to hire somebody.
Right.
And so I'm already down one person in the planning side, and not to have a clerk or administrative assistant, as we're renaming them, would be pretty detrimental. And so I think I missed the boat on the sub-budget last year, which would have been a better place for me to try to get this. But again, in November or even October, when the sub-budget was being discussed, I didn't have a date. And so, working with the employee, we really didn't have a firm date until kind of in December. So
Okay.
here I am before you now, with really the only option, unfortunately, to move contracted services. Typically, as you know, this line is used in this office to secure grants, sometime for a match, used sometimes to have additional consulting services, sometimes engineering services to supplement our own office when we have engineers, and different things. A lot of funds were sometimes used for events, sometimes the 150th, but we were able to keep this money in there. Particularly, it's not before you yet, we've only gotten the award notice. we were getting a significant grant from the federal government that requires a match. But this grant from the federal government will be over 2 years. It's also combined with my office and engineering. So even if I only have $1,000 in this fiscal year for the match, it'll be the next year's contracted services where I match that. So I would definitely like to use the money other ways, but this is where we are. So this is the only sort of flexible funding that I can move. We did ask in the original budget to have money in the buyback, particularly around PSA contracts, but that was zeroed out for other reasons from the administration. So there was no buybacks for PSA members this year. So again, there was never any money in that line item in this fiscal year.
Okay, and that's union contract as well.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Aaron?
Just one or two quick ones. Aaron, is it public who's the employee that's retiring?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah, we're
Sharon.
making a
Oh, it's Sharon.
for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, great.
Yep.
We wish
That's
Sharon-
why it's
give
20
Sharon our best.
20 years. That's why it's that
Yeah.
kind of number. 20 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have somebody else already to fill it, or?
So we've interviewed 2 people last week. 2 people canceled on us today. We've got a good number of resumes. We're going to interview 2 more people, so there will be a gap there. Thankfully, our planner 1, Alex Weiss, is just a great person and is willing to step up a little bit and kind of fill that.
Okay.
I am going to use the little bit of remaining money in the contracted services there to keep Sharon on for the 2 planning board meetings in February. The idea would be there to have the new clerk there to train. I mean, that's one of the challenges. There's not really the money for crossover training. But just to take care of those 2 planning board meetings in February. So we are interviewing people, and most people have jobs, so they would need 2-week notice. So we're looking at probably mid-February before we would actually be able to bring somebody on.
Make a motion be adopted.
All those in favor? Sorry. A roll call vote. Carmen Ocasio? Did you say yes? Jourdain?
Yes.
Divine, yes. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Givner?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you. If
And
you
that
happen to come across an extra $9,000 in the budget that you want to bring back to contracted services, I'd be more than happy to accept it.
Okay, and then we just have, I think, one more for you, Aaron.
Is there one more?
Yep. This was introduced by Counselor McGivern, but it's been changed to Counselor
okay.
Jourdain. Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A. The City Council hereby accepts the provision of the Community Planning Grant Program of $90,000, no match grant, and authorizes the establishment of a fund or other method appropriate for the accounting of receipts and expenditures of all resources associated with the administrative of said grant. Are you familiar with it?
I am familiar, but I think there was just a little bit of a mix-up, and understandable. OPED has received 2 of these grants. These are grants from the Mass Gaming Mitigation
Okay.
Fund, and this one's actually DPW.
Really?
Yes.
Okay,
And I only learned that a little while ago in talking with Carl that they did apply. It's open for all departments to apply. We're working with Carl, Police Department, and others on this year's application. They've changed it to a block grant. So we actually know the number Holyoke is going to be allocated, and so we're creating a proposal to meet that number.
Okay.
But previously, it was just open for applications. And so DPW, I cannot speak directly to what they are going to use this for, but I would say it's a very flexible grant. There is no match. I know that Carl mentioned the project that he was going to use this for, but unfortunately, I can't remember, and I don't want to speak for him.
The
But
master plan.
yeah, maybe it might be.
This is the master plan money, I believe.
Or is it the master plan or the,
Yeah, Carl, I see him on this
Oh, okay.
too as well.
okay. So,
Okay.
is it the master plan or they call it the integrated something, the DPW plan?
It says planning and zoning, community plan, master plan is the project focus.
Has your name as the project manager.
So we'll have Carl speak to this. We'll transfer that to him.
Yes. No.
Oh,
I'm going to text my staff in a minute. You are correct. I think I'm going to take back. You can retract all that from the minutes.
Rewind the tape.
Yeah, rewind the tape.
1 second. Carl, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah, we'll be putting forward in front of the finance committee another grant,
okay.
just like Aaron said, that that Chris Baker applied for before Unfortunately, he left us to go somewhere else.
Okay.
So I will
You are-
have that information for you probably for the next finance committee meeting.
Okay,
They
so
need
this
to-
one's yours?
Yeah, this is mine.
Okay.
They need to rename these grants. They're all called community planning.
Well, Aaron, that's why I think they combined it into one now.
Okay,
Okay, so this was actually, so backtracking. Mayor Garcia, obviously, as you know, when he came into office, wanted to do a new master plan. Our master plan is 20 years old. We have worked with the city council previously to earmark $150,000 from cannabis impact fee funds, and then the mayor allocated $150,000 of ARPA. We put out the RFP for our master plan. We interviewed 3 different companies. One was chosen by the group. This grant application went in late last year through the One Stop.
one stop?
The One Stop is a portal at the state level that municipalities submit all your applications to, and then they decide where it goes. It's a very different process. Happy to get more into it. It's supposedly supposed to be easier, but so basically we submit ideas in February, March, then we submit full applications, but you're not applying to a particular grant. So we said we need funds to do a master plan. We asked
Okay.
for $300,000. That was the ask. That was the cost. This is back last spring. In that meantime, we got the $300,000 from 2 other ways. That said, the master plan at $300,000 will get us to a certain point. These funds will still be important because what may happen, and I'm glad that you read the zoning part, what may happen at the end of the process for the master plan is here are 2 or 3 or 4 suggestions of what you need to dig in deeper on. It could be zoning, it could be particular parts of our zoning, it could be something else. That's what this $90,000 can be used for. It could be those secondary additional studies needed for the master plan. There's no match, this is state money, and again, it came in after the fact that we got the other funds allocated and approved through you with the cannabis impact fee funds and through the ARPA. The reason cannabis impact fee funds were particularly available and correct for this use was that a big part of the master plan will look at energy use and municipal vulnerability, utilities, infrastructure, and we know that the cannabis industry has put stresses on that infrastructure in our city and downtown and will continue to be a good user of electrical services. So that's why we were able to allocate impact fee funds, and of course the mayor used ARPA to close that gap. So this came in after the fact, but we still believe it will be utilized for the master plan. It can't be utilized for anything else.
Yeah, it does say that
Right.
on the information. And it goes through consultants, professional fees, 42.5.
Yep.
Meeting expenses, 42.5.
Yep.
Project supplies and materials, 5,000 for a total of 90,000.
Yep.
So, and that's for the master plan. It does say it right there.
Right there.
I remember the master plan. I
Yep.
don't know if Kevin
I
was
think your
on it.
names, yes, I think your
We
names
were
are
at
in there, absolutely.
Kirtland, was it Metcalf School?
Yeah.
Metcalf School, we were all up there.
We will be asking the city council to appoint a representative on the master plan working group.
Okay.
So that'll be one of the asks in addition to a member for the Tourism Advisory Committee. But yes, we'd like to have a city councilor on the state. Obviously, the city councilors are welcome to come to all the public meetings that will happen, but to have someone on that stakeholders group will be key.
Okay. So I would make a motion that we accept the grant.
Just one quick
Oh, go
question.
ahead, Kevin.
Aaron, just wanted to ask you about the timeline.
Mike, I'll be with you in a second.
Yep.
In terms of the timeline, it says here about 2 years. So I know originally it said procurement of the consultant last summer. That hasn't happened yet, right? Because you're waiting for this
Just
to be
happened now.
Just happened
It just
now.
happened now.
Okay.
We're purchasing, we're putting together the POs and the recs right now. The consultant group has been chosen by the review committee.
Okay.
So that just happened.
So you figure, I mean, it had a wide range of quote unquote when it'll be done. It
Yep.
said fall of 25 to winter of 26, so maybe that would be January.
Right.
So that would be roughly 2 years from now. So do you think we're still roughly on track for then?
We're definitely roughly on track for that. The plan is, again, once contracts are signed, you'll start to see public input meetings and surveys, late winter. As you probably remember or know, I mean, similar to the urban renewal plan, the first 6-8 months will be the public input part.
Right.
And then it's 6-8 months, in those meetings to figure out what we're actually wanting to do with all that public input. So yeah, absolutely.
thank you.
And really, I mean, again, and Carl will, and I know Carl will experience this too. The mass gaming grant is the group that works on this is really great to work with. They're very flexible. They're able to give us extensions if we would need one. So, and they do give us this 2-year window to begin with. And again, with this grant through through the state, we've been after them. This was our second or third time we applied to them, and they finally gave us money for the master plan. But
Good.
I was like, I think you want us to have this, don't you? So,
And Mike Sullivan has a
Yep.
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
through the chair, and so with this $90,000, will we now be able to reprogram some of the ARP money or some of the other money back for other uses?
I would say I'll keep that on the table. It's a possibility. I think that the proposal that came in was right at that $300,000 mark. I think $40 under. I think we want to wait and evaluate that maybe in the next 6 to 8 months because, as I said, often at the end of the master plan process, there will be tasks that they didn't complete and would say, these would be things you should go do. And so instead of having a gap in doing that, it'd be great if we had the funding to just go and do those. So until the public processes, definitely a possibility if we were to replace some of the ARPA funds and those could be reprogrammed, but I wouldn't want to make that decision now until we start to see what $300,000, which is a lot of money, what that's going to get us. And if there's going to be items that they're like, wow, if we had another 2 months and $30,000, we could dig in deeper on this thing. So it'd be good to have that money, not come back to this body or to try to get that money at some point.
So my problem with that is, and I'll use your example of 30,000, that still leaves 60,000 that could be used for something else quite possibly. And my biggest fear is that some of those funds, they have to be used within a certain amount of time or they just go away. So by waiting another 8 or 9 months, we could put in jeopardy losing those funds as well, right?
I'm not sure how much of the other ARPA applications are being fully utilized.
Well, I just know
Yeah.
that some of them,
Yeah,
there's
right.
a timeline on them, they have to use by a certain
Yep.
point or we lose them altogether. So if we stall off on that, I mean, I'm going to be in favor of this, but it's something we ought to look at
Yeah,
very
no,
closely.
I hear you, and I hear I definitely hear you, and definitely I see. I don't disagree. I guess I would say, and not that again, not that $300,000 in any way a little bit of money, but we did notice that many other master plans in the Commonwealth are going upwards of the 400,000 range. So it'll be interesting to see what this consultant, once we've got the scope of work, we're getting to see what that difference is. Sometimes when other communities are paying $50,000 to $100,000 more for the same product, is there something that we're not going to be able to fulfill? So I will try to put a quicker timeline on that decision to make sure that if we foresee the need for these funds, or if we foresee that it could supplement some of the ARPA money, then we can make that transfer and that happen, in this fiscal year. So by the end of June, that would still maybe give enough time for ARPA reallocation.
Yep, I just suggest that we double check what the timeline on that
Yep.
use of the ARPA funds.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'd just like to recognize Counselor Israel Rivera is online as well. And can you hear me, Israel? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. And also,
I'm here. My daughter's going crazy around. I don't have her on. Doing all that.
and my fault, I forgot to introduce the Finance Committee. Carmen Ocasio is the Ward 2 City Councilor. Kevin Jourdain is the at-large councilor. Patty Devine, at-large. Cocaine Givner is Ward 4. And Mike Sullivan is councilor at-large. And I just have one more item, Aaron, that I'm trying to clean out the jacket. This was a letter that you signed for OPED, and there's no date of the letter, but it says on 8/23/23, Office of Planning and Economic Development work with the Conservation Director, Purchasing Department, Real Estate Committee to prepare a RFP for the Edna Williams property. Is that done? This was just in the
Yeah,
folder.
oh, yeah, that was, so I think that, so an RFP was put out, when conservation was before you, it was suggested that from the council to, the conservation director that they work with us, so we worked with him. We obviously put out a lot of RFPs out there, yes, we worked with them, but then I think that the order came to city council, and I think there's a desire to pause on that property anyways. I don't believe it was even put up for surplus yet,
Yeah.
so I think it's still held. So yeah, we just worked with, we just worked with them, yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
city owns the property and no one
Yeah.
has any interest in it.
Right. There was only one
Okay.
interest, and it wasn't something that people,
Okay.
I think, are comfortable at this point. I think there was also comments made about waiting till the new council came in, because it was a big decision. There was a new Ward 7 city councilor particularly, it's in Ward 7, so I think
Okay.
that there was, I'm assuming you will probably have a future conversation about the Edna Williams property.
Right, okay, all
Hopefully
right.
not with me.
Okay, all
But I'm
right.
happy to support, the needs
Yeah.
of, and again, my office and, Yoni, the master of one person, he's a department of one.
Yeah.
So we definitely lend him support.
And again, this was just in the
Yep,
finance
okay.
folder, and I wanted to find out
Probably got
why.
mixed up with I think
Yeah.
probably with the December
So,
meeting that was discussed.
Any other questions for Aaron? Because I think we're all set unless
Motion
you,
to approve the
motion
grant.
to approve the grant. All those in
Second.
favor, oh, wait a minute. Because people are on Zoom that are on this committee, we have to do a roll call on every vote. So Carmen Ocasio?
Yes.
Kevin Jourdain?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Givner?
Yes.
And Counselor Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So just
Okay.
one other,
Yep.
and Carmen, great to see you. One other point of interest, I know it's just clean up the jacket and stuff like that, and I'm sure there'll be future orders to discuss this, and again, my door is always open. We did speak with Councilor Rivera today on his orders, but if you go to the city website, go to Office of Plan and Economic Development, there's a whole page on cannabis. You can see all the HCA's, all the companies right there. So all the special permit holders, I've got a huge master list. If you want access, I can give you a copy of that at some point. I can get it to Jeffrey. So obviously, as you can imagine, the HCA number is quite big. The special permit number, as you know, is 37. What companies are going to come to fruition is a much smaller number.
Okay.
But just so you know that information is on, a lot of that information is on the website. And we do post their yearly year-end report, which is part of the special permit requirement.
Maybe
Those
you
are on
could
there.
give it to Jeff and he could share the link and
Oh, yeah.
any supporting documents you
Absolutely.
think we should have. That would be,
Absolutely.
that would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay,
All
thanks.
right?
And I just want you to know, I gave him that,
Yeah.
a little card there because I was in his office, and he has a tribute to former Mayor Dunn, and I found that in my things, so I said I'll give it to Aaron for his wall.
Thank you.
But thank you, Aaron, very much. We're all set.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. And Maria, come on in.
Motion to take item 2 off the table?
So moved. I don't have to do a roll call for that. Same to you.
How are you?
Okay, this was an order introduced by Counselor McGivern, but I'm going to say Jourdain, that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2024, $20,078 and no dollars from the library assistant at night to the reference library assistant, $20,078. So I move we take it off the table. And Maria, if you can tell us what this is about?
We had a reference library assistant, it was full-time, and she worked.
Microphone.
What?
Oh, you turn your microphone on.
Oh,
Is it on now?
Yes.
okay.
Oh, thank you. I have a reference library assistant who was full-time, and for health issues, she had to go to part-time. So then I took the library assistant that was nighttime and moved her to the reference library assistant
Okay.
full-time. I moved her from one position to the next, and I did not move the money until now. So I need the money to be moved so the budget will be complete.
So the library assistant at night is now part-time?
Well, no, we don't have one because
Oh,
the
she-
full-time, no, because the full-time, the one that was full-time is still, now is part-time. And then the part-time that was the library assistant nighttime now is full-time, so she's also covering the nighttime. And since the Schedule A doesn't differentiate money-wise, the library assistant, the reference library assistant, or the nighttime shift, because there's no differential, they're all in the same one, so it didn't matter where
Okay.
they are. They're still
Okay.
in the same category type of.
So the library assistant who worked at night,
She's now full-time, so she's still working nighttime. She's
let me
still working
just-
nighttime.
so she was full-time,
No, she was part-time. Now
She was
she's full-time.
part-time, okay.
Yeah, so now she's full-time.
and it's the same person,
The library assistant night is
is the same
one,
person going to library assistant, reference library?
full-time.
Okay, full-time. Okay. Any questions for Maria?
Real quick, it's
Yeah.
budget neutral though, right? It's just shifting the money from one pot to another.
I'm not asking for new monies, yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Mike? Any questions?
Motion to
Okay,
adopt?
so moved. Okay, I'll take a roll call. Counselor Ocasio?
Yes.
Counselor Jordan?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Counselor Sullivan?
Yes,
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Counselor Rivera or Counselor President Tessa Murphy Ramboletti? I don't know if they,
No, thank you.
okay. All right, so that's been, okay. You're all set.
Thank you so much. I apologize for being late.
Oh, no, that's okay. We had, oh, be
Motion
careful.
to take item 5 off the table?
Second.
Which is? Okay. Oops. 555. Okay, that's the engineering one. This is, this is a order from Counselor Jordan that there be and hereby is appropriate by transfer in fiscal year 2024, 30,000 as follows. From engineer, assistant DPW superintendent, 15,000, civil engineer, 15,000, for a total of 30,000, to professional engineering services, 30,000. And motion to take it off the table.
Yep.
And what is your pleasure? Now, this,
I assume we're going to want to hear from Carl.
Carl, I was just going
right?
to say that, yeah.
This is
Good
for,
evening, counselors. This is for the continuation of our contractor as our interim city engineer, because as of yet, we have no engineering staff at this point, even though we are actively searching for both a new city engineer and a senior civil engineer.
Okay.
quick question.
Yes, go ahead, Kevin.
Carl, how's it going with our engineering services? Everything running smooth and you're happy with the situation? I mean, obviously you wish you had filled positions, of course, but it's working out, all things considered, or?
Yes, Victoria Poole, she's our interim city engineer, and she's been fantastic. She's keeping our heads above water for now, you know, with understanding that she's not here 40 hours a week. She's here about 20 hours a week.
Right.
And always available to us if we need her extra.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions?
I think Izzy has his hand up.
Is he? I'm sorry, Counselor Rivera, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I could barely hear you. So this is for Carl with regards to, through the chair, with regards to the engineering services. I'm sorry. So I think I just have questions around some of the traffic stuff that has been put on hold for like the time since Chris's departure, and wondering if there's a plan to see if we can get some of that taken up in the meantime, and if not, then not. But I would need to know, and I think Councilor Rivera, Jenny Rivera, would need to know as well, because Kelly School has been asking us around some of the stuff with regards to their buses getting signage and a variety of different things, possible traffic lights. Okay, baby, the food is almost done. Relax.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess I had a couple questions around that with regards to the city engineering, and the contracted services. Because I filed an order, but since you're talking about it now, we don't even have to talk about it in the order.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, we're
think
trying to
you're-
get that, Counselor, we're trying to get that, but the thing is, like I said, she's not a full-time engineer, so she's not there all the time, so we're trying to prioritize what we can do, especially with the road work that's, that's coming up and the other grants that we have going on and things with the sewer plant, working on the sewer lining that we're doing. So there's a bunch of different ongoing projects that that we're trying to continue on first. And hopefully, I'm hoping to get an engineer within the next couple of months.
All right, thank you.
thank you. I think I saw that order, Counselor Rivera, and it's going to public safety, perhaps?
I believe it's in public safety.
Okay.
But I figured since we brought it up now, why not have the quick question? But that's cool.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
that's okay. So any other questions on this transfer?
No, motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, wait a minute.
Roll call.
Yeah. Counselor Ocasio?
Yes.
Counselor Jordan?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Counselor Sullivan?
Yes,
Okay, so that going to be transferred, and
Motion to keep item 6 on the table.
Second.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, see you, Carl.
this is item 6?
Yeah, that's the 300 grand one we mentioned earlier. We
No,
gotta
no,
wait for our
no,
executive.
this is a 30,000, we just approved that.
Oh, that's all set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all
we
set.
approved that.
So now you've got the next one. There is one, since we have Carl here, Carl, you don't have to answer this tonight, but I was going through the finance folder, and I'm trying to clear up some things, and I put a note to refer this to you for the 24th. It's about Mass DOT. Pleased to announce that under new administration of Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, a total of $100 million for fiscal '24 has been allotted for the Fair Share Amendment to support local infrastructure. Without reading the whole letter, is that something you're able to talk to tonight, or do we just continue it to the 24th?
I don't think he's still here.
He might have left.
Oh, okay, well then, that's gonna go back in the file. Okay, and then, let's see. Before we go to this one here, I wanna go through these little ones to clear everything up, and then we'll get to that. This one is from Counselor Murphy, who filed an order about electric vehicle program rebates and things like that. And a person, because this was from March of 2021, can I have a motion to take it off the table
Madam Chair.
for discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Madam Chair, which item are we on?
I'm sorry?
Not on the agenda.
I know, because it's in, there
So
were
what
so
did we
many.
do with 6? Did we just table that?
I'm sorry?
She's gonna come
I'm
back
gonna-
to it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Which one is that?
The 300.
Oh, yeah, I want to do that last, because I just want to clear these up. These were in the finance folder, and they're old. So this one here, it was on the agenda about electric vehicles, and although I was going to give it leave to withdraw because it was so old, Jamie Morrow from the Chief Procurement Officer saw it on the agenda and said, Honorable Finance Committee, I hope this communication finds you well, and I'll make sure all of you get a copy of this. Okay, I just got it today. The mayor has committed to buying green vehicles whenever possible. One issue we have come across is that the outfitting needed by the departments is not supported by an all-electric or hybrid model. An example of this is animal control vehicle recently purchased. We investigated buying all-electric all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning. However, where the battery is in these vehicles is where the animal cages would have to go. So unfortunately, this was not an option. Same with the hybrid vehicle. My office has participated in continuing learning for the Mass State OSD Department in trying to remedy these issues. The mayor and my office are committed to purchasing green vehicles. We will continue to always support green initiatives whenever possible, and I commend the City Council for advocating for a greener Holyoke. I am always available to discuss any questions or concern. Best regards, Jamie Morrow, Chief Procurement Officer. So that's why it's in the the jacket, even though I was gonna give it leave to withdraw, I would say that it's been complied with.
Can I make a friendly suggestion?
Sure.
I think the only concern I'd have with taking all these up and doing the housekeeping, which I'm totally in support of what you're doing, is they're not on the agenda. So technically, we're taking up items for final disposition and discussion that were never published on the agenda.
Okay.
Friendly suggestion would be for our next meeting.
The 24th?
Maybe add them at the end and
Okay.
just say housekeeping.
Yep.
And then we'll do exactly what you're looking for.
Okay.
Because we're meeting next week, right?
Yep, we're meeting on the 24th, so, okay, I'll do that, Counselor. I'll have Jeffrey put that at the end of our
Okay.
next meeting. There goes that clip. Okay, so the only item I have left, I believe, is that it's introduced by Counselor Joseph McGivern, but Counselor Jourdain, order that there be and hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2024, $300,000 and no dollars, as follows: from city stabilization, $300,000, to claims and damages, $300,000. It's my understanding that this is going to be an executive session on Monday, and so I would ask that this be held until we have the executive session, and once we have the executive session, we can move it to the full city council and vote on it at that time.
Sounds good. Motion to table.
All right?
Second.
And I will say, okay, motion to table, Counselor Ocasio.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Jourdain.
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Givner.
Yes.
Counselor Sullivan.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
No?
Okay, then
All right,
I'll
motion to
entertain
adjourn.
a motion to adjourn.
All right.
And thank you very much for your help.
Oh, yeah.
And
Me too. Yep.
appreciate it. So,
And we'll see you next Wednesday, right?
Monday.
Oh, well, Monday,
Yeah,
right. But
yeah.
then finance next
Finance
Wednesday.
is next Wednesday, correct. Okay, but thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Yep, have a good night.
And
Think we're good.
make a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I have to do a roll call for that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I have to do a roll call for that. Counselor Ocasio?
Yes.
Counselor Jourdain?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Counselor Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know what, Jeff, I'm not sure what to do with the computer or anything, so I'll leave it there for you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.